I think what I worry most about people, my observation is that, like, I feel like a lot of people now don't know the very simple ways in which they can still engage in social media or whatever and set really healthy boundaries. Like, there is totally a way for you to still use that shit and not, like, drive yourself fucking insane, whether it's through the politics stuff that's going on, whether it's, you know, in my case, you know, health and fitness still being problematic in terms of, like, causing people to feel like they need to starve themselves or just whatever. That you should look a certain way, or that there's a certain life that you should be living or whatever. I think there's really healthy boundaries. Like, for myself, I mean, if you have an iPhone, there's a really awesome time limit app that they have on iOS now, where you can set limits for what apps shut off after a certain period of time. So on my phone in particular, all social networking apps, I'm allowed 1.5 hours a day. That's it, in total minutes. So whether it's I spend 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon, an hour in the evening, doesn't matter. But after an hour and a half, it shuts off. And then the time limit screen shows up and says, your time's run out for the day. And I'm like, oh, I guess I will read that post tomorrow if I remember. But if I don't, like,
life goes on. You have
life
to worry
goes
about
freaking on.
Other fish to fry.
And then with Facebook, I mean, people tell me, like, well, I use Facebook because, like, I stay connected with all these people. I'm like, but do you?
How do you define connected?
Yeah, and
you lurk.
I've had my phone number I have had since I was in frickin' high school. So for all y'all who graduated from Capitol High School, if you've known me since then, chances are that number is probably still mine. So, unless I blocked you because I thought you were annoying, sorry. But, you know, like, you can call me, you can text me. Like, if you want a relationship, you can contact me. You don't need to connect with me through Facebook Messenger. And so, like, I don't know, I find that there's actually, like, very easy ways to avoid this whole, like, I feel so overwhelmed by social media, look at what so-and-so is posting. I'm like, who fucking cares? Because they're probably have just as many issues as everyone else, and that one post is the one thing that made their day, and that's great for them, you know, like. So I don't know, I think that's the thing I find so impressive about Gen Z, actually. So Gen Z, I feel like they are the most hyper aware of a lot of things that we're talking about, like the changes in masculine culture as well as, like, feminine culture, and the intersectionality of those two things, the gender neutrality that we are trying to evolve from as a society, transgender identities. Like, they have, I find that they have a much more widened understanding, largely because they've been exposed to the changing dialogue in our own media and culture in real time right now. The caveat to all of that too is that they're also the epitome of, like, online bullying, the epitome of, like, really living their lives through Snapchat and Instagram. And I forget the rate of, like, depression and suicides and stuff. I mean, it's awful. Like, the stuff that you can read about that too. So it's interesting because I don't want to use really cliche language, but, like, in some ways they're the most woke, and yet they're the most, like, sadly affected by this stuff too. It's weird. I observe and read that stuff all the time just because, like, I do find it so fascinating. Like, I love just learning and about people and seeing how they're evolving with technology, because I personally actually hate technology a lot for a lot of reasons and what it's morphed into, but it's a critical part of my business. So it's like
it's also empowering for some people, right? Because they now have access to information they otherwise wouldn't have.
There's so much good that can come out of technology. I mean, I'm sitting here in my freaking, you know, U.S. palace of first world privilege. So, like,
U.S. palace, yes,
yeah, you know, but so I acknowledge my privileges in that, right, for sure. But just, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that facial recognition I find creepy, straight up. Ad technology, even though, yes, Society 9 uses Facebook ads. Just
right,
like
it's enabled a lot of people to be able to make money and be, you know,
absolutely.
Independently. Yeah.
But just like everything else, there comes with costs, you know, and I think that's the, if I were to go back to school to study, like, sociology, absolutely, like, without a doubt, I would be going balls deep into, like, a PhD or something on, like, technology and its effects on, like, human evolution, because, like, I just find it so, hopeful, but also just really fucking sad and terrifying at the same time. Man,
You-
got real dark, sorry.
You know, we keep going there, I guess. It just, I don't know what
World's a hard
what
place.
The deal is. Yeah, exactly. We're just real talk right now. When they look at groups around the world who, you know, like these enclaves of seniors who live into their hundreds, and they try to determine what it is that is contributing to their longevity, one of the key, like, their diet varies, their activity varies, but what's common, what tends to be common, is that they have a healthy social life. We're social creatures. There's something to that. And it must be, you know, brain chemicals. As far as brain chemicals go, here goes the armchair expert. There's something happening in person-to-person contact and community. I mean, you spoke about how community was really important to you and how that brought you, like, a better understanding of yourself via Krav. For me, it was CrossFit. There's something about that aspect of community and connecting with other people and whatever it does in the brain that is missing when all of your interactions with people are mediated, right? By a screen.
Yeah, I just, you know, the disturbing shit that I see, like, going to restaurants, and I'm sure y'all see it too, is when you sit and see a family of 4. I mean, yesterday, fucking yesterday, it was Easter. We were at lunch. We were at this Vietnamese restaurant. I'm looking over at this table of 4. The dad, the mom, the 2 daughters who absolutely could not have been older than 12 or 13. I'm being generous. One was at least probably like under 10, and then the other one was like 12 or 13. We're all on their phones for a long time. And I was just like, oh my, like, I totally judged. Not that I would be the perfect parent. Like, we don't have to get into that part, but just like, but that whole image though of like, they're not having conversations. I mean, our family was hardly perfect, but I do think, when not having iPhones and smartphones and stuff, and when I think of just the times where we did have dinner around the table, like, that's really freaking special. Even the times where I've been welcomed into other people's homes where, like, they too chose or established rules that phones were not allowed. There is something really special, surprisingly, about how analog that all is. And actually how strong, I think, when I think about, like, my strongest relationships and friendships with people, are the ones where, like, they have healthy boundaries. Because, like, listen, I'm not here to be the phone police. I'm not here to judge you if you do use your phone. But just setting really healthy boundaries. Even, for example, you're having dinner with a person. Your phone buzzes and you check. Because, you make sure it's not your parents, your sibling, whatever. Because that's my rule. I'll always have my phone out. And if it buzzes, I'll only check and respond if it's my family. Otherwise, full stop. It can wait. Or if it's a deliberate emergency or something I have to pay attention to, I will preface it to that person to say, hey, by the way, so-and-so's got to get back to me about something today, but that's the only thing I have to pay attention to. Otherwise, like, I'm ignoring my phone, just so you know. And then it's just like a simple acknowledgement of, like, hey, I know you took time out of your busy life to make time for me. Thank you. It's a very, I find when people do that for me, that's how I feel. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that you respect our time together, whatever that is. It's not even about business. You're respecting our time together and actually, like, connecting. And I get it. Phones are still part of life. Check your phone if you need to. But you're still acknowledging my existence. Like, you're acknowledging our relationship. That's really important. I think it's lacking these days.
I think it's a question of, like, what is it? What are you seeking? When I'm with people, what I'm seeking in that moment is quality time with my friends, talking to them, telling stories, laughing, because I cherish their presence and I'm taking it all in. And whatever's happening on my phone does not trump that. There's nothing that could absolutely reward me in the same way. And I mean, honestly, I wish I had more pictures of me and my friends. But because I put my phone away, because when we're together, there's nothing on there that is better than what is happening in that moment. I actually, in an effort to capture my life, I actually have to tell myself to pull my phone out and, like, take pictures and whatnot. Because I do want those memories because it's fun to look back at them. But, I don't know, we're not able to talk to each other in person as much. Why is that? Is it because there's something about communicating via words, like via typing them out or writing them out, that is more comfortable than expressing them for whatever reason.
Because you can curate.
Because you can curate. You can
curate your sentences.
Right, exactly. You can edit. You could think them out a little bit more.
Why else do you think people break up over text? Because they're not forced to confront a conversation in real time. Instead, they can
and hear the tone in the voice.
Yeah, which is very
actual
ironic
emotion.
Because like you write out like a breakup, but the other person has no clue if you're like yelling at them or if you're cold or whatever. If you have any compassion in your voice, I mean, it's weird, man.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
Okay, we'll flip to better topics.
Sad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.